I'm Tom Harrison and I'm the welfare officer. So the welfare officer in my mind could be two different jobs. So a third of my time is spent in the university liaising with support services. So that would be the University Health Service, the Counselling Service, Disability and Dyslexia Support Service, as well as the Incident Support Service and Financial Support Services up in Level 6. So they're kind of student services, I guess. And also with accommodation. So I represent students on housing matters as well in the university. And then the other third of my job is kind of external to the university. Obviously we're in a general election year and we're in Sheffield, which is a constituency with the highest number of students per capita in the country. So there's a lot of activity going on over the next few months, and I'm working quite well with Ben Walters, who's president of Sheffield City College, and Emmett Cleaver, who's my counterpart at Hallam Union. And then the third one is community representation. So that's what I spend the rest of my time doing, which is being outside the university, talking to local residents, as well as students about how they actually live in the community. So whether that's a residential association or it's organising a kind of landlord forum, that's kind of what I spend a fair amount of time doing. I think the chief difficulty has really been in expectations. So when I first got into the job, I really went for it. And I ran in my first year. I've always been a really keen student. I've always been a highly politicised student. And I just thought welfare officer is the best role. It is, in my opinion, because it kind of connects the personal with the political in a really empowering and broad way, because it's more holistic, because you don't just view a student on campus. You kind of view their whole experience and try and represent them, which is I really enjoy. But I think the biggest thing is learning actually how to build coalitions and how to build relationships. Which building relationships doesn't necessarily mean you're like copping out, or you're not holding yourself true to your values. Because actually the biggest difficulty was understanding how change actually operates in a bureaucratic system. And often it's not immediate and it's slow, and that's actually good, because that's when good decision making gets made. So that's been the first initial difficulty, which I feel like I've overcome. An average day, I'm looking at my calendar in the corner there, because I just picked up Wednesday as a kind of fairly typical day, in which I've got 2 university meetings and a students' union meeting. And they take up the majority of the day because they're quite long meetings. So I've got the mental health strategy group, which is services across the university meeting to discuss student mental health and how we can kind of create positive mental health cultures within the campus. And so stuff like the Time to Change initiative has been, which I helped kind of kickstart by presenting it to the University Executive Board at the beginning of my term. And now we've signed and we're kind of delivering some of it at the moment. So that's the sort of things that we'll discuss, and how we can engage student and staff on these issues. I'm actually meeting with the chief financial officer in the university about university rent levels, because at the moment we're negotiating on the level of rents as well as the differentials between the highest and the lowest, which takes an incredible amount of time. But it's also really good, because not all students' unions have the same amount of dialogue that we do have here, and we have a really, really good relationship. Even if we sometimes disagree, it's still like a kind of consultative dialogue, which is really good. We're standing outside the University Health Service, which is unique in the country apart from in Bristol, in that it's part funded by the university as well as the NHS. So it's a practice that's purely for the members of the University of Sheffield, and offers a unique tailored service to them. So it's one of the only ones that has a unique eating disorders clinic, as well as specific mental health advisors. I work with them really effectively, and they work really, really hard for students, and it's really, considering they've got 6,000 to 7,000 new patients each year and a staff and student population of about 30,000, this is one of the most efficient GP services in the city. So we're outside the Student Advice Centre, which represents students on a number of matters, from housing to money to academic. So they're independent of the university and run by the Students' Union, and they're a fantastic service provision that we have to support our students. So they help run the Smart Move campaign, as well as represent students on any part of their life here.